Hello everyone, welcome to my political journalism news channel. The story for today is Russia widened its military offensive in Ukraine on Friday, striking near airports in the west of the country for the first time, as observers and satellite photos indicated that its troops, long stalled in a convoy outside the capital Kyiv, were maneuvering in an attempt to encircle the city. But with the invasion now in its third week, the new moves on the ground pointed to Russia forces trying to regroup, bombarding new cities as they tightened their 10-day-old siege on the key Ukrainian port city of Mariupol, where tens of thousands were struggling to find food. The new airstrikes in western Ukraine were likely a message from Russia that no area was safe. Western and Ukrainian officials have said the Russian forces have struggled in the face of heavier-than-expected resistance and supply and morale problems. So far, they have made the most advances on cities in the south and east while stalling in the north and around Kyiv. Howitzers were towed into positions to open fire, and armored units were seen in towns near the Antonov airport north of the city, according to Maxar Technologies, the company that produced the images. The 64-kilometer line of vehicles, tanks and artillery had massed outside Kyiv early last week. But its advance had appeared to stall amid reports of food and fuel shortages, while Ukrainian troops also targeted it with anti-tank missiles. The new moves suggest the convoy forces were now moving west around the city, making their way south to encircle it, according to Jack Watling, a research fellow at British defence think tank Royal United Services Institute. "They're about halfway around now," he told BBC Radio. He said they were likely preparing for a siege rather than assault on Kyiv because of continuing low morale and logistical problems. A missile Friday hit the town of Borychivka, on Kyiv's eastern perimeter, significantly damaging buildings, according to the regional administration. Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu said Russia knew of more than 16,000 applications from countries in the Middle East, many of them from people he said had helped Russia against the Islamic State group, according to a Kremlin transcript. Since 2015, Russian forces have backed Syrian President Assad against various groups opposed to his rule, including Islamic State. Opposition activists in Syria have also reported Russian recruitment efforts in the country for the Ukraine war. But they estimate the number of volunteers so far is in the hundreds or a few thousand. Revoking Russia's most favored nation trade status by the US and other nations would allow higher tariffs to be imposed on some Russian imports. Western sanctions have already dealt a severe blow to Russia, causing the ruble to plunge, foreign businesses to flee and prices to rise sharply. Putin has insisted Russia can endure sanctions. After meeting in Moscow with the president of Belarus, Putin said there have been certain positive developments in Russia-Ukraine negotiations. But he offered no details. In Syria, Russia backed the government in imposing long, brutal sieges on opposition-held cities, wreaking heavy destruction on residential area and causing widespread civilian casualties. That history, along with the ongoing siege of the Azov seaport of Mariupol, has raised fears of similar bloodshed in Ukraine. Russian airstrikes Friday targeted for the first time the eastern city of Dnipro, a major industrial hub and Ukraine's fourth-largest city in a strategic position on the Dnieper River. 3 strikes hit, killing at least one person, according to Ukrainian Interior Ministry advisor Anton Heroshenko. The Ukrainian General Staff said Friday that the attacks in the west and in Dnipro were launched because the Russians were unable to succeed on other fronts. It said Russian efforts Friday remain concentrated around Kyiv and Mariupol, and that Russian forces are regrouping in the north and around the eastern cities of Sumy and Kharkiv. Temperatures sank below freezing across most of Ukraine and were forecast to hit -13 degrees Celsius (8 Fahrenheit) in Kharkiv, which has come under heavy bombardment. Some 400 apartment buildings were cut off from heating supplies, and Kharkiv Mayor Ihor Terekov appealed to remaining residents to descend into the subway system or other underground shelters where authorities and volunteers were distributing blankets and hot food. Mariupol residents said bombardment continued Friday. Konashenkov, the Russian Defense Ministry spokesman, said Russian-backed fighters have advanced up to 800 meters from Mariupol from the east, north and west, further squeezing the city which has the Azov Sea to its south. He said the advance was being conducted by fighters from the separatist-held Donetsk region, the standard Russian line for fighting in the east. Bereshchuk also announced efforts to create new humanitarian corridors to bring aid to people in areas occupied or under Russian attack around the cities of Kherson in the south, Chernihiv in the north and Kharkiv in the east. Millions more have been driven from their homes. Kyiv Mayor Vitaly Klitschko said about 2 million people, half the metropolitan area's population, have left the capital. That is all for today news. Thank you for watching to my channel. Please be sure to leave your comment and subscribe below for more news update.